Because although volume is typically built off-premise, brands are built on-premise. So it's important that we learn about one another as customers to ensure that we're going to be compatible business partners. I'm pretty sure it's pretty safe to say we've all made that mistake where we jump into a relationship like a little too early without all that information that we wish that we had up front. So I'm not here to tell you how to run your social lives. That's for you to decide. But when it comes to business, it's vitally important that the vetting process is pretty thorough. So we want to make sure that we take a little bit of time and get to know one another. On my end, On my end, it's important for me to understand that the supplier is in good standing with current and former customers that they have worked with. And then on the other hand, it's also important that the supplier is comfortable with taking on the operation as a customer. We're often talking about a really large amount of product and some serious sizable cash flow. So it's really important that those things are compatible and we have the same core values. So the core values is a thing that I'm always looking for in a supplier. I want to make sure that those core values are equal to my operation and that we have the same goals that will lay the groundwork for successful product development. There also must be initiative from that supplier to demonstrate awareness to the customer's unique requirements. The beverage industry is not a one-size-fits-all industry, as we're all pretty familiar with. And smaller operations lend to a different set of challenges to the formula of larger retailers. As a supplier, try to become familiar with the demographic of that particular market and help isolate key target metrics of that demographic. Doing this can successfully help develop a brand that can capitalize on those specific metrics. As a supplier, it's important to show willingness to discover what specific business needs are and then lay the groundwork that will help build a mutually beneficial partnership and ensure the success for both parties. More often than not, volume tends to be built off-premise, which I know is a motivating factor for most suppliers to want to build a private label product. But the opportunities to work with smaller operations should not be left on the table. Because although volume is typically built off-premise, brands are built on-premise, and successful brand building will lead to the increase in volume. So although the operation will technically be the customer of the supplier, it is important that both sides of the partnership feel comfortable working with one another.